Ready, because we're starting. Alright, so today we're going to learn how to factor a trinomial or any polynomial when it has these specific things. The first thing it's going to have, the degree is 2. Does anybody remember what a degree is on a polynomial? Not just a trinomial, on any polynomial. Well, if it looks like this, and that's our only 2 in here, what is that? It's an exponent. And is it the biggest exponent?
Yes,
man, oh man. So, when the degree is 2, or the highest exponent is 2, that's what we're going to be factoring. And this has a special name called a quadratic. We also use this method when the number of terms is 3. What's it called when it has 3 terms? Trinomial. And this specific special method is when the leading coefficient, what's the leading coefficient? The number out front. So when the leading coefficient is greater than 1, because isn't that what our learning target said? That our leading coefficient is going to be greater than 1. So what number is greater than 1? And. Fantastic. Stop. Okay, so what method do we use when we factor a trinomial when this is 1 out front? What's it called? That we just took a test on yesterday.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I know.
What method do we use to factor a trinomial when a is 1? The star method. You use the GCF when there's a GCF, guys. Trinomial factoring is the star method. This is star method part 2. The difference is we have a number out front, right? So the first thing you do is you take whatever number this is, and you're going to multiply it by c. And that's what changes and goes in the top of our star. So you're going to do a times c up there. What goes in the bottom of our star? B, always. Now, before, when we did this, what went in the top left and right? Now, what do you think is going to go this time?
No.
I think zero. They're going to be like
So whatever number is out here goes in the top. It's magic. And then what do you think is going to go in the bottom? The what? The factors. Good. Take a point, Sarah. The factors. Now, there are 3 boxes for steps for factoring success, but there should have been 4, so we're going to make a 4th one down here. Super sorry about that. I got excited. So, make a 4th box down here. Alright, so the first thing you do when you're factoring, what did I do first when I wrote this up here? Thank you. Take a point. The first thing you do is you multiply a times c. Then what do you think we do? Do we need to put everything in our star? All right, put everything in the star. Bless you. The third thing that we're going to do, which is what we did before, is we still have to watch our signs. So we're going to use our trinomial sign rules. Which were what? If C was positive, what did we do?
If C was positive, you referred to B, and that would be, the both numbers would be like positive or negative, whichever
Good.
number is.
Take a point. I'm so proud of you for finally learning that. And if C was negative, what would you do?
The biggest
Nope.
factor would be the sign of B.
The biggest factor would be the sign of B. Good. Take a point. And the last thing, reduce the star, which will make more sense when we actually work out a problem. So the difference this time is we need to find two numbers that multiply to give us AC and add to give us B. Before, we were just finding two numbers that multiply to give us C and add B. But this time, we multiply this, correct? All right, let's talk about what that's going to look like. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anybody need a mo? There is paper towels. There are paper towels. Are we ready? Do I need to keep that? Because I already have one on my desk. Thank you. All right, examples. Let's do these together. Our first example that we're going to do is 7x squared plus 29x plus 4. Is everybody ready? ¿Por qué no? All right, first draw your star. All right, then you're going to do what? What's the first thing it told us to do? Good. All right, so what's 7 times 4? 28. Awesome, and that goes in the top. All right, what's going to go in the bottom of our star? Good. 29B. And then what's going to go on the top left and right this time? 7. Siete. Good. Yeah. Alright, so everything is still the same, except we do 7 times 4, and that's what goes up here, and then we put a 7 instead of a 1. Now, we need two numbers that multiply to give us 28 and add to give us 29. What's 7 plus 4? And you do that every time, too, when you're working them. So remember, you need to watch that, okay? So keep that in mind. 1 and 28. Good. 1 and 28. So, Damien, make sure that you don't just write those down, okay? So when you're doing it, it may help to make a list over here. Like sometimes we make our T-chart, and you do 4 and 7, 1 and 28. Remember to add to get this bottom one. Just be careful of that, okay? All right, now, we multiplied A times C. We put everything in our star. We used our trinomial sign rules because this was positive, so both are positive. Now, what does our last step say? Reduce the star. So everybody cover up this middle part. Alright, do you see how I now have two fractions? You're going to reduce one of them. Can we reduce 7 and 1? Nope, so we leave that. But can we reduce this? What goes into both 7 and 28? Siete, 7. Good. What's 7 divided by 7? What's 28 divided by 7? Good. And it reduces to 1/4. Now we got to put it in our parentheses, but yeah. What is on top this time? So it would be 7x plus 1. And then what's on top over here now?
1.
Uno. So it would just be x plus 4.
Do we have to reduce every time we do it?
Isn't that what it says for our fourth step? That's a good question, though. You do have to do it every single time. Every single time. And the reason is, hang on just a second. The reason is, if I put a 7 here, and remember last week when we checked using the FOIL method? If we did 7 times 7, what's that?
49.
And we need what right here? We don't need 49, do we?
No.
So you have to reduce every single time. All right, what was your question?
What if it doesn't need?
Then you leave it, and that's what goes out front. But one of them will reduce. Otherwise, you did something very, very wrong. Does anybody have a question? Let's do another one together, just to be safe. Maybe 2 more together. All right, number 2. Hey, how can you understand what's going on if you don't pay attention? Know what I mean? So why don't you let me have this? That way we're not distracted. And you write down the words. Oh, fantastic. And you just lost it this class period. All right, so we have 4x squared minus 13x plus 10. I'm glad that you wrote the problem down. Super proud. Okay, so what do I need to draw first?
Star.
My star. Every single time, guys. Every single time. Super sorry. All right, what do I do first? Which is 4 times 10, which is 40. Good. All 3 of you take a point. Good job. All right, what goes on the bottom of my fraction? Negative 13. And top left and right?
4.
4. Why is it 4 this time?
That's the 8.
Super proud. Take a point. Now, we have to use our trinomial signs. See, my voice is just dying, y'all. We have to use our Really, you can't just read step 3? You have to be sassy about it. Alright, use our trinomial signs. So if C is positive and B is negative, both signs are going to be what? Negative. Good. Both of you take a point. So y'all get a point and Gryffindor gets a point. Alright, now let's come over here and list away. Shh. Not everybody is as fast as you, and that's 5.
Did you put anything in there?
Yes, he put his belt. So you should pay attention to the math and not him. I got your back. Sometimes.
Both of y'all.
Alright, now. Let's list all the multiples of 40.
10, 4, 1, 45, and 8.
Alright. 10 and 4, 2 and 20,
1 and
5
4.
and 8.
5 and 8. And they all need to be negative, right?
Yes.
Well, you tell me. Was C positive?
So that would, okay, yeah.
Remember our rules. If C is positive, both match B. Okay, now which of those, and that's negative 4 if you can't read my scribble, super sorry. Which of those adds to give us negative 13? Not this one, not this one, not this one, but this one. So where does that go?
Right there, put it.
And the 2 blank spaces of the star.
Okay, negative 5, negative 8. Now don't do anything else. Everybody just pause and look where we're at. Is anybody confused on how we got to this point?
We gotta write it out for negative.
You need help on the negative parts? Or is it just remembering the rule? Okay. Alright, so if C is positive, both signs are going to match this. Okay? Since this is negative, they're both going to be negative. Now the reason is, negative 5 times negative 8 is positive 40. Right? And that's what we need. But we need negative 5 plus negative 8 to be negative 13. Is that better? Okay. Now, cover up the middle. Which side can be reduced? The left or the right? The right. And what goes into both 4 and 8? The biggest number, don't just say 2.
4.
4. Good. And what? And that becomes 1, negative 2. Is everybody with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure? Where can now?
I don't know.
You're just saying that? Are you confused? Where?
No, no.
Alright. How do I write it in my parentheses?
4x minus 1.
4x minus
Five
5. And then over here it's going to be
x minus 2.
good.
Wait, I don't know why.
Okay?
I got it until you started writing it in the parentheses.
Alright, that's okay. Watch. I'm going to cover up this middle, right?
Right.
Now, remember before we had a 1 up here, correct?
Right.
And we would just write x minus 5.
Right.
But this time, what do we have?
A 4.
So that has to go out front.
Okay.
So it's 4x minus 5. And then over here, we don't care about our 4 and negative 8, do we?
No.
What's on top?
1.
So we just write x, and then this is a negative 2, so we write minus 2.
Okay.
Damien, does that help you as well?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Because, like, how you know how you wrote the, like, for number 1, you did, like, 7, 8 plus 1, 7, 8, 8 plus 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it would be 1 and negative 2.
Well, the reason is because 1 was on bottom here, so that's why I wrote a 1. Negative 5 is on bottom here, so that's why I wrote minus 5. Yes, ma'am.
Are we dropping the baby numbers?
The exponents?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you drop those because we factored it. So the point is to get it back to the 2 binomials so that we could use FOIL and get that.
Okay.
So you don't have those anymore.
Okay.
You gonna do one more together just to be safe?
No.
Alright, let's do, well, some of us are not. So if you're great, you can do it on your own and work ahead. How about that? Go team.
I did it.
I haven't even written the problem down, dum-dum. Number 3. 3x squared plus 17x plus 20. If you think you can work ahead, work ahead. That's fine. But don't say anything out loud and let the rest of us work together. Alright, what's the first thing that we do? Natalie?
You saw it.
Draw your star, yep. And what's going to go in the top of my star?
60.
Good. And the bottom?
70.
Mm-hmm. And the top left and right.
3.
Alright, Mackenzie, are you with me? Damien, are you with me?
How did you get 60?
Remember, you have to multiply A times C. So anytime, every single time you do this problem, or a problem like this, I want you to come back to this. Okay? These are the steps you need to follow. And make sure you do that. Especially, now that's especially important when you have a number out front because it changes your entire problem if you just write a 20. Because then we would have two numbers that multiply to give us 20 and add to give us 17, and there's not. Okay? Be careful about that. Alright, so let's come over here and list our factors of 60. I'm sorry, do I need to take the zippers from your pants too for you to pay attention? Like, come on.
I can't do it.
You can't do what?
I haven't finished your taste if I put some stuff in my brain.
Right, but you haven't even tried this, and it's the same thing. No, writing stuff down is not trying. That's not how it works. So we're going to pay attention.
2 and
I'm gonna
30.
forget those.
2 and 30. And what now?
6 and 10.
Okay, now remember, we need to add to get add to get 17.
5, 12. 5, 12.
Divide it.
5, 12.
Divide it by 5.
Oh, 3 and 20.
Baby, use your calculator and divide by 5. We trying to add to get 17.
5, 12.
Oh, it's right. Yeah.
5 and 12.
12, 5 and 12.
Okay, and is 5 plus 12 17? Okay, do you see the point of what we're doing now? We're not just listing the factors for funsies. Okay.
That was that, yeah, that was that, yesterday.
Let him do his thing. He just needs a minute. Now, what goes in the bottom left and right? 12 and 5. Good. It doesn't matter which one goes first. Sorry, Natalie, for throwing you off. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter which one goes first. You can put it either way. But which side reduces now? That I've swapped it, which side reduces?
Whoa, 3 and 12.
The left side, 3 and 12. So really, it doesn't matter where you put it in your star. You just have to notice which side reduces. And the way we do that is we cover up the middle. 3/5 does it. Like, I can't keep getting on to you. You should be looking at the board and not even over there. You are interrupting class, and I can't keep saying stuff to you every 5 seconds. All right, now you cover up the middle, which side reduces? All right, and what goes into both 3 and 12?
3.
Okay, 3 divided by 3 is? 12 divided by 3 is? Okay, so how do I write my parentheses?
3x plus 4.
No.
You do x plus 4. And
X plus 4 and
x plus 5.
3x plus 5. Now, does it matter which order we write it in?
No.
No, it doesn't. The signs are the only thing that matters. Did anybody get that right before we finished? Take a point. Ready to try some on your own? All right, turn your paper over. I'm going to give you 4. You're going to do 4. We're going to check it together, and then I'm going to give you 4 more. Okay?
That's homework.
And if we get all 8 done, we don't have homework. Yes. One way or another, yes. All right. And this is 29B. Examples. Factor each trinomial are the directions. All right. Remember, I'm giving you 4. You're doing 4 without me, and then we're going to check. Yeah, I'll zoom it in. That says, ooh. Amazing. That's as far as I can zoom in.
Okay.
Do you need to come up here?
No.
Are you sure? Okay. If you need to, you can. I can move. I don't care. Color on your paper. Mucha color.
What's that other number?
Let me zoom out. 15. Right now. You need